It looks like we are moving forward, or I say we, the House moved forward on a House transportation bill. Where it goes in the Senate, we'll have to see. Representative John Garamendi is a member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. He's a Democrat from California's 3rd District. He tweets at Rep. Garamendi and is with us. Congressman, welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Always good to be with you.
So it sounds like we've got a 6-year bill in the offing. What's your sense of things?
Well, I think we will have a 6-year bill, and that's a good thing. The bad thing is it doesn't really solve our transportation infrastructure problems at all. And so we lock ourselves in for 6 years of mediocrity in our transportation system.
What's mediocre about it?
Well, it maintains the present level of funding, which we know from the status of our roads, the 63,000 bridges that are capable, that might very well fall down, all of the gridlock we have, and the inadequacy of transit systems, for example, here in Washington, D.C. All of that is a result of underinvestment, and we're going to, under this bill, continue the underinvestment for 6 full years. And I'm going, why are we doing that? What's that all about? Anyway, that's what it is. People are happy to have 6 years, but I'm not happy to have 6 years of mediocrity.
What is your sense of the working relationship between your chairman and the chairman of the committee and the ranking member? Chairman is Bill Schuster of Pennsylvania, ranking member Peter DeFazio of Oregon. How do they get along?
I think they get along well. They're both very good people. They both know transportation well. They both are faced with a common problem, and that is a leadership on the Republican side that refuses to find the money that we need to invest in our transportation system. So they're doing the best they can with a very difficult hand that they've been given.
Where should they get that money?
There are a variety of places. The administration, President and Secretary Fox put together I think, an excellent program called Grow America. It covers all of the transportation investments, infrastructure investments that we should be making, from freight to rail to ports to highways and transit. And it adds about $140 billion more money over the next 6 years. And the money to pay for that comes from American corporations that have skipped out on their corporate taxes. These are corporations that are hiding their profits overseas.
This is the reclamation, correct?
It's called repatriation.
Repatriation. So is that not in this transportation bill?
It is not. I've tried twice now, but in committee and in the amendments that we should have taken up to bring that issue before the House so we could vote on whether American corporations ought to pay their fair share of taxes to support their businesses here in America.
And how is the fair share defined?
Well, these companies, using the various tax loopholes, hide their profits overseas. For example, they take their intellectual technology, they then sell it to a subsidiary located in Ireland or some island somewhere, and the profits reside there at a very low or no tax rate, rather than here in the United States. So what this said is those profits are taxable. Bring that money back home at less than half of the corporate tax rate, 14%. And it raises $150, $160 billion over the 6-year period.
Why not lower the corporate tax rate in the meantime? And that way would be no incentive to actually move that money overseas.
Good idea. Corporate tax reform is absolutely essential. Our new speaker had been presumably working on this, but did nothing on the corporate tax reform, and so now he's speaker, and I guess yesterday they announced a new Ways and Means chairman. We'll see if that new chairman is willing to get to this problem. But yeah, corporate taxes are a major problem. The tax rate's far, far too high. The loopholes are far too wide, and too many American corporations are taking advantage of the loopholes, skipping out on their responsibility to the United States. Representative
John Garamendi is with us. We're talking about the transportation bill. Now, the House did vote down the one amendment to increase the size of the trailers the trucks could carry, correct?
There's been a raging controversy. Some of the trucking industry, not all, some of the trucking industry wants to increase the truck weight and the truck length. I believe both of those have been defeated. This is, in my mind, is a safety issue. Big trucks, big heavy trucks, harder to stop, more dangerous, and we've had quite enough big truck accidents.
Is there anything to be said in favor of this in that it now is a bill that provides some certainty to those who have either pending contracts, et cetera, projects that are waiting for this kind of approval? Is there at least that to be taken out of this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why a lot of people that really wanted a robust bill that actually provided the investment that our country needs are willing to accept something. And a 6-year certainty, they think is worth it. And I may very well wind up voting for it too, because frankly, there may not be much of an option. But many of us are going to continue fighting for the kind of investment that we need. So yes, 6 years is good, but also 6 years locks us into a mediocre level of investment that will clearly give us worse roads at the end of 6 years.
Sounds to me, Congressman, like I was looking at this, it's a 6-year bill, but I think only the first 3 years actually have the paying mechanism attached, correct?
Well, that's correct.
And then I also note that we have a 2-year budget agreement, although there still has to be some filling into the blanks. There may be an omnibus that comes out. But it seems right now that Congress is content to put things out there that will have to be resolved after we get another president of the United States. It's almost like not an agreement necessarily, but a silent understanding that some of these problems are going to be pushed off to the next administration. Well,
let's use a football analogy. We normally do a point after touchdown, one of those short kicks. This time we did a field goal. We have a longer kick, but nonetheless we have kicked the can down the road. We have not addressed the underlying problems in both of these cases. The budget, 2 years, wonderful, better than 3 weeks or 3 months. 6 years, better than, again, just 6 months or 1 year. But the underlying problems have not been resolved. We still do not have a clarity on the budget. We still do not have a good mechanism to reduce the ongoing yearly deficits, nor do we have a way of paying for the kind of infrastructure that we absolutely need to have.
And I know, I just want to point out, too, that there's not been a long-term transportation bill ever under President Obama. And part of this, it goes back to 2009. I know that there was a delay on it just because they wanted to get the Affordable Care Act done. It's been short-term ever since then.
It's true, and even before Obama. This is an ongoing thing. It's gone on for more than a decade. It's 1993 was the last time the gasoline and diesel tax was raised. And at that point...
But there have been longer-term transportation measures, funding measures.
There was a 3-year bill and a 2-year bill, yes.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to seeing whatever comes out of this, and we will continue to follow. And you say you're still not convinced whether you're going to vote for or against this, correct?
Well, we've had, maybe 50 amendments. Somebody's going to sit down in the next couple of hours or next day and say, what exactly did those amendments do? And there may very well be something horrible among the amendments as they begin to put all these things together. But at the moment, we do have a 6-year bill, and that's a whole lot better than a 3-month bill. But I just wish that we had taken the step to actually provide the money to invest in America.
Congressman, I appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is Representative John Garamendi. He's a Democrat from California's 3rd District, discussing the highway transportation bill. He tweets at Rep. Garamendi, Garamendi.